Does travel insurance really pay out? It's a fair question. You book a trip, you spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars, and then you're told to buy insurance in case something goes wrong. But what happens when something does go wrong? Does your insurance company actually have your back? Or do they leave you hanging? Today, we're diving deep into the truth about travel insurance, what it covers, when it pays, and what often leads people to get denied. Let's start with the basics. Travel insurance is designed to protect travelers from financial losses related to trip disruptions, medical emergencies, or other unexpected events. But despite how simple that sounds, the reality is far more complex. People buy travel insurance expecting peace of mind, but often, they don't read the fine print. They assume it covers every scenario under the sun, and that's where disappointment creeps in. So let's answer the big question. Does it pay out? The short answer is yes, but only if you play by the rules. Let me explain. Every travel insurance policy is essentially a contract. That contract spells out what the insurer agrees to cover and what it doesn't. If you meet the conditions of that contract, they'll usually pay out without much drama. But if your situation falls outside of that coverage, the answer is going to be no. Let's walk through the major categories that travel insurance typically covers. First, trip cancellation or interruption. This is probably the most common type of claim. You've booked a flight, hotel, and activities. But then something happens. You get sick, a family member passes away, or a natural disaster hits your destination. If the reason for cancellation is listed in your policy, you'll get reimbursed for the non-refundable costs. Second, medical emergencies abroad. Many people assume their regular health insurance works everywhere. That's often not the case. If you break your leg in Europe or end up hospitalized in Southeast Asia, your travel insurance can cover medical expenses, including hospital stays, ambulance rides, and sometimes even emergency medical evacuation. Third, baggage loss or delay. If your suitcase goes missing or arrives days after you do, travel insurance can cover the cost of essential items or replace your belongings if the bag never shows up. Fourth, trip delays. Flights get delayed. Connections are missed. If your trip gets held up for a long enough period, usually more than 6 to 12 hours, your insurer might reimburse you for meals, hotels, or alternative transportation. Finally, there's emergency evacuation and repatriation. This comes into play if you need to be medically flown back home or relocated to a better medical facility. These costs can be massive, but good travel insurance covers them. So yes, these types of claims get paid out all the time. But let's talk about the other side. Why some people feel like travel insurance doesn't work. The number one reason claims get denied? The claim doesn't fall under a covered reason. For example, canceling a trip because you're afraid to travel during a disease outbreak, or because the weather forecast looks bad, usually isn't covered. Neither is canceling because your friend changed their mind about going, or because your boss suddenly said you can't take time off. That's why you have to read the list of covered reasons in your policy. Some policies offer cancel for any reason coverage, which gives you more flexibility, but it usually costs more and pays out only a percentage of your losses. Another major reason for denial is pre-existing medical conditions. If you have a chronic illness or condition and it causes problems during your trip, many policies won't cover it unless you disclosed it and purchased a waiver. Also, documentation matters a lot. If your flight is delayed and you want reimbursement, you need proof, like airline statements, receipts, and written confirmation of the delay. If your bag gets lost, you need to file a claim with the airline first. Travel insurance isn't a blank check. It's a reimbursement tool. And like all reimbursements, it requires paperwork. Timing also matters. Some policies require you to notify them within a specific time window, sometimes just 48 or 72 hours after an incident occurs. Miss that window, and your claim could be invalidated. Let's look at a few real-world scenarios. First, imagine you cancel a trip because your father has a heart attack. If your insurance includes family illness under trip cancellation, and you have medical documentation, you'll likely be reimbursed. Now imagine you cancel a trip because of political unrest at your destination, but your policy doesn't list civil unrest as a covered reason. That's likely to be denied. Here's another. You slip and break your ankle while hiking abroad. If you get treated at a hospital, save your records and notify the insurer, the medical costs should be reimbursed, assuming you didn't ignore a pre-existing condition. And what about someone who shows up at the airport and finds out their passport is expired? That's not covered. It's considered a preventable event. So again, travel insurance does pay, if your situation is covered and you follow the rules. Let's get practical. What can you do to make sure your travel insurance actually pays when you need it? First, choose the right policy. Don't just go with the cheapest option. Read the terms. Make sure it covers the kind of travel you're doing. If you're taking a cruise, climbing mountains, or going to a remote area, you may need special coverage. Second, declare any medical conditions honestly. If you have high blood pressure, diabetes, or any condition that could flare up, disclose it when buying your policy. Third, save everything. Receipts, boarding passes, emails, flight changes, doctor's notes, police reports if there's a theft. Document everything. Without proof, even a valid claim can be denied. Fourth, understand the exclusions. Many policies won't cover injuries related to alcohol, drugs, or high-risk activities like skydiving or scuba diving without special riders. Fifth, file your claim as soon as possible. Don't wait weeks to contact your insurer. Get the ball rolling while the details are fresh and the documents are in hand. And finally, if your claim is denied unfairly, don't give up. Appeal the decision. Ask for a review. Sometimes claims are denied because of missing documents or small technicalities that can be fixed. So, let's come back to the big question. Does travel insurance really pay out? Yes, it absolutely can. But it's not automatic. It's not guaranteed. And it's not a magical safety net that fixes every problem. It's a tool. And like any tool, it works best when you use it properly. If you're traveling with expensive reservations, going abroad, or have unpredictable health, travel insurance can be a lifesaver. But only if you understand what you're buying, follow the rules, and prepare for the unexpected. The bottom line? Travel insurance pays. When you do your part. Thanks for listening. If this helped clear things up, hit the like button and consider subscribing for more practical travel insights. Stay safe out there and travel smart.